The small human ship drifted through the quiet dark of space. Its silver hull looked fragile compared to the giants that ruled the galaxy, but inside it carried a crew that believed in exploration more than fear. The ship was named Aurora, and at its helm sat Captain Myra. She was steady, thoughtful, and carried a strength that came not from weapons but from her will. Humanity had only begun reaching beyond its home system. Larger empires, with their fleets of shining warships and ancient histories, barely noticed the presence of Earth. Yet Myra and her crew believed that even the smallest voice could matter in the endless silence of the stars. The Aurora's mission was simple. They were charting a border region marked on maps as forbidden. Warnings filled the navigation systems, glowing red on the screen. This space belonged to the Zirith Dominion, ruled by a queen whose power stretched across 1,000 worlds. Many whispered that she was cruel, others that she was amused by the weakness of other species. No one from Earth had ever spoken to her, and no one wanted to. But the Aurora had strayed too far. A sudden tremor in space told the crew they were no longer alone. Ryan, the ship's navigator, turned pale as his console lit with signals. "Captain," he said, his voice tight, "we have company. Multiple vessels. Big ones." The view screen flickered, showing shadows emerging from the void. Massive ships with jagged wings unfolded like predators. Their sheer size dwarfed the Aurora. The crew fell silent, their breaths caught in their throats. Myra did not flinch. She leaned forward in her chair and studied the display. "Open a channel," she ordered. Lonnie, the communications officer, hesitated. "Captain, they might destroy us if we speak." Myra gave a faint smile. "Or if we stay silent. Let us meet our fate with words, not fear." A shimmering light filled the screen. At first it looked like a storm of colors, then the shape of a throne appeared. Upon it sat a figure both beautiful and fearsome. Her form was tall, her crown curved like the wings of an insect, and her eyes gleamed with a strange fire. She wore armor that glowed faintly, as if alive. The throne chamber around her was grand, filled with alien symbols carved in shining metal. This was the alien queen. The crew of the Aurora held their breath. They expected anger, threats, or demands. Instead, the queen tilted her head slightly, studying them as one might study a tiny insect. Then, with a voice that rang like silver bells yet carried sharp edges, she spoke. "A human vessel, so far from its nest," she said. "Do you know whose space you trespass?" Myra stood, keeping her posture calm. "We know," she answered. "We are explorers. We did not come to steal or to harm. If we crossed your border, we ask only forgiveness." The queen's lips curled in what seemed like amusement. "Forgiveness? Few dare speak such words to me. Most beg. Most crawl. Yet you stand." Ryan whispered from his console, "Captain, careful." But Myra kept her gaze steady on the queen's glowing eyes. "We are small," she admitted. "Our world is young compared to your empire. Yet small does not mean meaningless. Every star began as a spark." The queen leaned back on her throne. Her laughter filled the chamber, rich and strange. Bold words from a fragile creature. "Do you not fear me?" Myra's voice was calm. "Fear is natural. But respect is greater. And I respect what you have built." The queen narrowed her eyes. For a long moment she said nothing. The silence stretched, heavy with threat. Then she spoke again, her tone softer but edged with curiosity. "You amuse me, human. Others scream when they see my fleet. You speak as if I am a guest at your table." Myra bowed her head slightly. "Guests can be honored, even if they come with fire." The crew behind her exchanged nervous glances. They wondered if Myra had gone too far. To speak boldly to the queen of the Zirith Dominion was almost unthinkable. Yet the queen did not roar with anger. Instead, her strange laughter echoed again. Perhaps I shall not crush your vessel, the queen said at last. Perhaps I wish to see how long your courage lasts. Her hand waved, and behind her, a dozen alien commanders bowed. The queen's gaze returned to Myra. Bring your ship to my flagship. I wish to see these humans who dare speak boldly in the face of death. The connection ended. The view screen went dark, leaving the crew staring at one another. Lonnie's hands shook as she whispered, "Captain, did she just invite us aboard?" Ryan swallowed hard. Invite might not be the right word. More like command. Myra returned to her chair and steadied her voice. We are explorers. We do not turn away when the universe offers us a chance to be seen. Set course for her flagship. The Aurora moved forward, dwarfed by the titanic alien ship ahead. Its hull shimmered like obsidian glass, and its towers rose like mountains. To the crew, it looked like sailing into the mouth of a beast. Yet Myra's calm presence steadied them. For the first time in human history, a crew from Earth was about to stand in the court of the alien queen. Whether they would survive or vanish into legend was unknown. But in Myra's heart, one truth burned bright: humanity would not be remembered as silent shadows. They would speak, even if their voices trembled. As the docking clamps of the alien flagship reached for the Aurora, the crew prepared themselves. Behind their fear was a spark of something greater. Curiosity, hope, and the belief that even the smallest ship could change the course of history. The Aurora shuddered slightly as it docked against the massive hull of the alien flagship. Inside the crew, nerves and excitement mingled, but Captain Myra remained composed. She took a deep breath and signaled her team to prepare. This is a chance few humans have ever seen, she said, her voice steady. We walk carefully, but we do not bow in fear. Remember that. Ryan adjusted his uniform nervously. Captain, everything about this ship screams danger. The halls are wide, but every corner could hide traps. Lonnie frowned, gripping her tablet. And the queen herself. She does not smile at visitors. One wrong move, and stop thinking like that, Myra interrupted gently. We show respect, but we do not assume the worst. Fear can paralyze more than any enemy. The docking doors hissed and slid open, revealing the interior of the flagship. The walls shimmered with alien energy, moving as if alive. Ribbons of light traced patterns across the floor, guiding their path toward a central chamber. They walked slowly, every step measured. The corridor widened into a great hall. Statues of past leaders, tall and angular, lined the walls. The floor reflected the crew's faces, magnifying their smallness against the alien grandeur. At the center, on a throne elevated above the floor, the alien queen waited. Her form glowed with energy that seemed to pulse with her heartbeat. She did not rise or gesture. She simply watched, her eyes fixed on the humans with curiosity. Myra stepped forward. We are grateful for your invitation, she said. We hope to speak honestly and openly. The queen's laughter filled the hall again, echoing off the walls like wind over mountains. Honest words are rare from your kind, she said. Most speak to survive. You speak to impress. We do not mean to impress, Myra replied. We only mean to be understood. The queen's gaze softened, but her posture remained regal. Understandable. Yet understanding often comes at a cost. You are in my realm, humans. You are not protected by distance or weakness. Why should I spare you? Myra did not flinch. Because we have something others do not. We have creativity, courage, and the will to face challenges that seem impossible. We may be small, but we are never silent. A murmur ran through the alien attendants. They had not expected such boldness. Few species dared speak in this tone, and none had done so without trembling. The queen's eyes narrowed, but a faint smile appeared. You are clever. Most creatures collapse under pressure. Humans, you speak like fire. But fire can be extinguished. Myra held her ground. And yet fire can also light a path. For a long moment, the hall was silent. Then the queen spoke, her voice softer and thoughtful. You may speak with words, human. But words do not survive without action. Are you prepared to show me that your people can act where others fail? Yes, Myra answered firmly. We are prepared to act. And we are prepared to learn. The queen studied her closely. Then she raised her hand. The floor in front of them shifted, revealing a holographic projection of a distant planet. Mountains taller than the tallest human city rose from the surface, and rivers glowed with strange colors. This world is mine, the queen said. It is uninhabited by your kind. It is hostile. Many have tried to navigate it. All have failed. If you can survive there, you will show me the truth of your claim. The humans exchanged uneasy glances. Ryan whispered, hostile worlds are no joke. Even our training won't cover everything. Lonnie nodded. And the queen is watching. One mistake could end everything. Myra placed a hand on the console that displayed the alien world. Then we do what humans have always done. We observe, plan, and adapt. That is how we survive. The queen's gaze softened again. Bold words. We shall see if they hold. Your trial begins immediately. You will be transported to this planet with minimal tools. You must survive and return. Fail, and you will remain there. The crew felt a chill. The queen's warning was clear, yet there was also a spark of interest in her eyes. She did not seek their death. She sought proof. Within moments, the human team was enveloped in a shimmer of energy. They felt their bodies lifted and carried through space without motion, until they found themselves standing on the surface of the alien planet. The world was vast and harsh. The sky shimmered in unusual colors, and the ground was rocky and uneven. Strange plants glowed faintly, and the air carried an unfamiliar scent. Myra took a deep breath, letting her senses adjust. Keep your wits about you, she said. We do not know what this world holds. Ryan bent down to inspect the soil. This is unlike anything on Earth. The minerals, the plants, everything is different. Lonnie scanned the horizon. We need shelter. We need water. And we need a plan to communicate with the Queen if possible. Myra nodded. Divide and conquer. Tomash, you and Ryan explore the northern ridge. Lonnie and I will investigate the valley below. Stay alert for anything unusual. The humans moved carefully, observing the alien environment. They noted which plants might be edible, which surfaces were stable to walk on, and which areas seemed dangerous. Even in this unknown place, their minds worked with precision and creativity. Hours passed. They built a temporary shelter from alien materials, using their understanding of physics and ingenuity to make a safe space. They started a small fire using energy crystals they found, and the warmth was a reminder of human persistence. As the twin suns of the alien world set, casting strange shadows, Myra gathered the crew. Today we survived by thinking, not fighting. That is our strength. We will not only survive. We will show the Queen that humans adapt where others cannot. Ryan smiled faintly. It feels like we are being tested by the universe itself. Perhaps we are, Myra said. But remember, a test is only a challenge for those who rise to meet it. And humans always rise. In the distance, they could feel the faint pulse of the Queen's attention, her presence like a heartbeat that stretched across space. She watched, not with anger, but with curiosity. The humans were small, fragile, yet their courage and cleverness shone brightly. The night deepened, and the alien sky shimmered with unknown stars. The crew rested, but none of them felt fear. They had faced the impossible before, in smaller ways, and they would do it again. For this was only the first step. Survival was not enough. They would thrive, even under the watchful gaze of a queen who did not yet know what humans were capable of. The alien world stretched endlessly before the humans. Jagged mountains glowed faintly under the twin suns, rivers shimmered in unnatural colors, and the wind carried strange, musical tones that seemed to hum across the rocks. Captain Myra surveyed the landscape with careful eyes. This was the trial the alien queen had set for them, a test that no other species had passed. Remember, Myra said to her crew, we are small, but we are capable. Every problem has a solution if we stay calm and think clearly. Ryan adjusted the pack on his back, filled with the limited supplies they had been allowed. Supplies are minimal. Food, water, tools, just enough to survive. The rest will be our minds and our hands. Lonnie nodded, scanning the horizon with her instruments. Sensors pick up strange energy readings. This place is alive in ways we don't fully understand. Myra turned toward them. That is why we must observe first. Move carefully, test every step, and learn before we act. The Queen is watching. She wants to see if humans can endure what others cannot. They began their journey through the rocky landscape, using their knowledge of physics and survival skills to navigate safely. The ground shifted underfoot, and strange plants moved subtly as if aware of their presence. Some emitted soft glows when touched, others hissed faintly, warning them away. Those plants could be dangerous, Ryan said, stepping back from a luminescent bush. Or they could be useful. We won't know until we examine them. Myra knelt beside the bush and carefully collected a sample. Every unknown thing is a puzzle. If we approach it with curiosity and care, we can learn its use instead of fearing it. Hours passed, and the humans found a small stream of glowing water. Lonnie tested it with her portable instruments. Not harmful. It contains nutrients we can use. It is unusual, but drinkable. Good, Myra said. Collect it for the journey ahead. Water is always our first priority. As they moved forward, the landscape became more treacherous. Sharp rocks jutted from the ground like giant teeth. Wind gusts carried fine dust that made it hard to see. The humans had to rely on each other, guiding one another carefully. This is unlike any environment on Earth, Ryan said, his voice tense. Every step requires attention. Exactly, Myra replied. Adaptation is our strength. We learn, we adjust, and we continue. That is what the Queen expects to see. At one point, they came across a deep chasm. Its walls glowed faintly, and strange shapes flickered within the depths. Crossing it seemed impossible at first. The humans debated whether to go around or attempt a direct path. Myra studied the chasm. Sometimes, the impossible is only the unexplored. We may find a way if we examine carefully. Ryan noticed a series of narrow ledges along the side of the chasm, partially hidden by glowing moss. We could cross here, he said. It will be dangerous, but we can make it if we work together. Lonnie checked the ledges and nodded. They are stable enough for our weight. We must move one at a time, help each other. Myra led the way, steady and calm. One by one, they crossed, holding hands at the trickiest points, trusting in their teamwork. When the last of them stepped safely across, a sense of quiet triumph filled the group. This is what the Queen wants to see, Myra said softly. Courage combined with intelligence. Survival through thought and cooperation. As they continued, night fell. The twin moons of the alien world rose, casting soft light over the strange terrain. Shadows danced across the jagged rocks, and the glowing rivers reflected the moons in surreal patterns. They found a sheltered cave and decided to rest. Inside, the walls were smooth and cool, and a small underground spring provided water. Myra studied the surroundings carefully. We can use this as a base. From here, we explore further during daylight. Safety first, always. Ryan sat down, exhausted. Captain, this world tests everything's strength, patience, observation. It is more difficult than anything we imagined. Then we must rise to meet it, Myra said firmly. Humans have always faced the unknown and turned it into opportunity. That is why we survive where others fail. Lonnie smiled faintly. Even the Queen cannot deny that our methods are unusual. We think differently. Myra nodded. Exactly. She will watch us adapt, learn, and use creativity. That is what makes us human. Not size, not power, not weapons. Our minds, our courage, our ability to find a solution where none seems possible. The next day, they encountered another challenge. A wide river blocked their path, and its waters glowed with energy that reacted strangely to their instruments. It could not be crossed by normal means. Look at the current, Lonnie said. It is too strong for us to swim. The energy could sweep us away. Myra studied the situation. Then we build. Using the materials here, we create a bridge or a raft. Observation first, improvisation second. Working together, the crew collected rocks, sturdy plants, and even pieces of fallen crystal from the cliffs. Using their knowledge of balance, leverage, and engineering, they constructed a makeshift raft strong enough to carry all of them. They tested it carefully, adjusting as they went. When the raft held, they crossed successfully. Myra smiled as they reached the other side. Every obstacle is a lesson. Every challenge is an opportunity to show what humans can do. As they moved forward, the landscape became increasingly alien. Strange creatures moved in the distance, curious but cautious. Some plants seemed to react to their presence, folding and unfolding as if alive. The humans documented everything, learning how to survive while avoiding unnecessary risk. That evening, they set up camp on a rocky plateau overlooking a glowing forest. The view was breathtaking, but it reminded them that the trial was far from over. The Queen's test was not only survival. It was endurance, creativity, and the ability to thrive in a place meant to discourage life. Myra gathered her crew. Remember this moment. We are not just surviving. We are learning, adapting, and proving our worth. The Queen watches us. Every choice we make tells her who we are. Ryan looked out over the alien forest. Do you think she will believe us capable? Myra smiled. She already watches with curiosity. Our actions will speak louder than words. We do not need her belief. We need only to show our nature. Humans endure. Humans adapt. Humans rise. The crew rested, knowing that the next day would bring new tests. The alien world was vast, unpredictable, and alive. Every moment was a challenge, every discovery a lesson. Yet they felt a quiet confidence. For all its strangeness and danger, this world was no match for determination, intelligence, and cooperation. Under the strange sky, with the glowing rivers below and the twin moons above, humanity took its first true steps toward proving itself to the alien queen. A test of endurance, courage, and cleverness. And the humans would not fail. The next morning, the alien world seemed even more alive. The twin suns rose slowly over the horizon, casting long shadows across jagged mountains and glowing rivers. Captain Myra gathered her crew before setting out. We learned yesterday, she said, but today we do more than survive. We adapt. We solve problems. The Queen watches, and she will see what humans are capable of when we think clearly. Ryan stretched, rubbing his hands together. I still can't believe the Queen is actually testing us instead of destroying us. Every moment feels unreal. Lonnie checked their equipment. Unreal or not, we have a task. Observation, creativity, and teamwork will get us through. Myra nodded. Exactly. Let's begin. The crew moved cautiously through a glowing forest. Strange plants swayed gently as if breathing. Their luminescence lit the path, but the glow also revealed movement. Small alien creatures darted between the trunks, curious but careful. The humans kept their distance, observing silently. Hours passed before they came across a cliffside. The path forward was blocked by a rock wall taller than any they had encountered. It was smooth, without ledges, and too high to climb without equipment. "This is impossible," Ryan muttered, stepping back. Myra studied the wall carefully. "Nothing is impossible," she said calmly. "We just need to find a different way to approach it." She noticed strange vines growing along the sides of the wall. They glowed faintly, and some appeared flexible enough to hold weight. "If we can use these vines, we may be able to climb or create a pulley system," she said. The crew worked together, twisting vines into makeshift ropes and securing them to strong anchors. Lonnie measured distances carefully while Ryan tested each knot. Myra coordinated, making sure each step was safe. Slowly but steadily, they climbed. When the last member reached the top, they found a plateau overlooking a valley filled with glowing crystals and streams of light. "See," Myra said. "When we observe first, then act, we can solve problems others might call impossible." As they explored the plateau, they discovered a network of tunnels beneath the crystal valley. Strange markings covered the walls, symbols that pulsed with energy. The tunnels emitted a low hum that resonated through the ground. "This energy, it reacts to our presence," Lonnie said, moving her hands above the symbols. "It's like it responds to thought." Myra studied the markings. "Then we think carefully. Every step must be intentional. Observe, experiment, adjust." They moved forward, testing patterns and carefully pressing symbols. Slowly, a door of crystal opened, revealing a chamber filled with glowing spheres. Each sphere contained a different landscape, a miniature version of another part of the planet. Ryan frowned. "It's like a puzzle. We have to figure out how to interact with all of these spheres to continue." Myra nodded. "Then we do what humans do best. We observe the rules, experiment carefully, and learn from our mistakes without panic." Working together, the crew noticed patterns. Some spheres responded to touch, others to gestures, and some only to coordinated movement. They communicated constantly, adjusting as they went. Hours passed. They learned the rhythm of the puzzle and finally activated the central sphere. The chamber shook lightly, and a hidden passage revealed itself. Beyond it lay a large clearing where the alien landscape seemed calmer, almost welcoming. The crew stepped out into the light, exhausted but proud. Myra smiled. "This is what the Queen wants to see. Intelligence, teamwork, and creativity. We do not just endure, we solve, we adapt, we thrive." In the distance, they saw movement. The creatures of the planet watched from afar, curious but cautious. Even they seemed to recognize the humans' cleverness. Myra took a deep breath. "Every obstacle teaches us something. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow. This planet is harsh, but it has shown us how capable we can be when we work together." Ryan shook his head in amazement. "No other species could have solved that. We adapted in ways the Queen might not have expected." Lonnie nodded. "Humans have always found ways. Curiosity, creativity, and cooperation, these are our strengths. That is why we endure, even when faced with the impossible." As they rested near a glowing stream, Myra looked up at the twin suns. "The Queen watches us now," she said. "She sees not just survival, but cleverness. That is what will matter. Humans are not just strong or brave, we are inventive. That is our true power." Night fell, and the glow of the crystals lit their resting place. The team discussed what they had learned, documenting every detail of the tunnels, symbols, and spheres. They understood that the challenge was not just physical, but mental. The alien Queen had created a test that required ingenuity, patience, and cooperation. Myra reflected on their progress. "We are small, yes," she said softly. But our minds are not. Every challenge we overcome proves that size does not matter. Ideas, determination, and teamwork, these are the tools that make humans remarkable. The crew slept lightly, their minds active with plans for the next day. They knew the challenges would grow more complex, but their confidence had increased. They had faced a trial designed to be impossible and had found a solution. And far across the stars, the alien queen observed. She did not intervene, but her attention lingered on the humans. Her expression was unreadable, yet curiosity burned in her eyes. She had expected a struggle, perhaps even failure, but what she saw was persistence, intelligence, and an unexpected spark of creativity. The humans had proven something that no other species had. They had taken the impossible and turned it into a lesson. They had not only survived, they had solved, adapted, and grown. Myra watched her team as they prepared to move forward. "Tomorrow will be another test," she said. "And we will meet it the same way. Together, using our minds and our courage. We are humans. That is enough to face any challenge." The night deepened, and the glowing world around them seemed almost alive with approval. For the first time, the humans felt not fear, but a connection to this alien place. The planet had tested them, and they had answered in kind. The alien queen's laughter echoed faintly across the stars, but this time it was not mockery. It was curiosity, amusement, and perhaps the first sign of respect. She had underestimated the humans, and she would soon learn that their cleverness was as formidable as their courage. In the heart of a strange world, under twin moons and glowing skies, humanity began to show what it truly meant to endure and adapt. The trial continued, but so did the story of determination, intelligence, and the spark that made humans unforgettable in the galaxy. After days of navigating the alien world, solving puzzles, and overcoming challenges, the humans felt a quiet confidence growing among them. Each trial had tested their endurance, intelligence, and creativity, and each time they had emerged stronger. Captain Myra understood that their success was not just survival, it was a demonstration of humanity itself. The twin suns of the alien planet rose slowly, casting long, golden shadows across the glowing landscape. The crew gathered for their morning briefing. "We have learned much," Myra said. "Not just about this world, but about ourselves. We know that we can adapt, find solutions, and work together no matter the challenge. That is why we have survived." Ryan nodded, scanning the horizon. "And the Queen is watching. I feel her presence, even from this distance. She is observing our every move, our choices, our teamwork." Lonnie added thoughtfully, "She must be realizing that humans are unlike other species. We don't just act, we think. We don't just endure, we create. That is something no empire can ignore." Myra smiled faintly. "Exactly. Today, we show her more than survival. We show her ingenuity and the way humans find opportunity where others see only danger." Their path led them to a high ridge overlooking a vast valley. The valley shimmered with alien energy, glowing plants, and creatures moving in synchronized patterns. The humans watched in awe. This was clearly another challenge, but it was also a chance to demonstrate their unique abilities. Ryan studied the valley carefully. The energy patterns, they form a sequence. If we understand it, maybe we can move safely through the valley. Myra agreed. "Then we observe first. Knowledge is our weapon, and patience is our shield." They moved slowly, documenting each pattern, each movement. They noticed that the creatures reacted to their presence, adjusting their paths as if testing the humans. The glowing plants responded to pressure and sound, forming a complex network of signals that the humans had to interpret to move safely. "This is like a puzzle," Lonnie said. "We have to follow the patterns, not just guess. One mistake and we could set off the energy incorrectly." Myra nodded. "Then we follow the patterns, communicate constantly, and trust each other's judgment. That is how we succeed." Step by step, they navigated the valley. They adapted when patterns changed, improvising when the unexpected occurred. The creatures observed silently, and the plant's energy pulses seemed to acknowledge their cleverness. Finally, they reached the center of the valley, where a platform of crystal floated above a glowing pool. The platform was the final challenge. Its surface contained complex symbols and mechanisms. "This is the final part," Myra said. "We need to understand how it works before touching anything." Ryan studied the symbols. They seemed to react to touch, motion, and balance. If we coordinate correctly, we can activate it safely. The crew worked together, experimenting carefully. Each human contribution mattered. Lonnie's observations, Ryan's calculations, and Myra's leadership combined perfectly. Slowly, the platform activated, rising and forming a bridge toward the opposite cliff. The humans crossed, their hearts steady. They had succeeded where others had failed. This was more than survival, it was mastery. At the top of the cliff, they found a communications device, alien in design but surprisingly intuitive. Myra approached it carefully, touching symbols that represented signals and messages. "This could allow us to speak with the Queen," Ryan said, excitement in his voice. "We might finally explain what we have done and what we can offer." Myra activated the device. The air shimmered, and a channel opened. The alien queen appeared, her presence as imposing as ever, but with a subtle shift. Her posture was less rigid, her gaze more thoughtful. "You have reached this point," the queen said. "Many have failed. Few even tried. Humans, you are different." Myra bowed slightly. "We have done what we could, and we have learned more than we expected. Our people are small in number, but we are capable. We do not just survive, we adapt and create." The Queen's eyes glimmered with curiosity. "You offer your intelligence and courage as proof. That is unusual. Most creatures offer only obedience or submission." "Obedience is easy," Myra said. "But creativity, innovation, and cooperation, these are what make a people strong. That is what humans can offer. We do not seek to conquer or destroy. We seek to learn, to share, and to grow together." A silence fell. The Queen seemed to consider her words carefully. Around her, attendants whispered, amazed at the boldness and clarity of the human captain. "You speak of partnership," the Queen said finally. "Few have dared. Even fewer have the courage to offer such a thing without fear. Tell me, why should I accept your proposal?" Myra met her gaze steadily. "Because humans are different. We see opportunity where others see danger. We create solutions where others give up. We endure, not for the sake of power, but for the sake of learning, growing, and improving. That is a gift no empire can ignore. A partnership with us is a chance to gain new perspectives, new ideas, and the creativity your empire may have forgotten." The Queen leaned back slightly, her expression unreadable. For a moment, it seemed as if the entire galaxy held its breath. Then, slowly, a small smile formed. "Bold, very bold," she said, her voice a mixture of amusement and interest. "Few have ever addressed me with such clarity. Most tremble. Most lie. Yet you speak truth, and you speak with understanding. Perhaps there is merit in your offer." Myra inclined her head. "There is merit in collaboration, in trust, and in the exchange of knowledge. We do not ask for power, only for respect and a chance to show what humans can do." The Queen's attendants shifted, whispering among themselves. It was unusual for the Queen to consider the perspective of an outsider in such a manner. She had expected compliance, perhaps even clever pleading. Instead, she found honesty, ingenuity, and confidence. "You are unlike any species I have encountered," the Queen said at last. "Your courage and cleverness are remarkable. I am intrigued by your people. You may not be the strongest, but your minds, Your minds are sharp. Myra felt a quiet pride. This was a turning point. The Queen's respect, even cautious and measured, was now evident. She no longer viewed the humans as weak or insignificant. Their actions had shifted her perception. We will continue our journey, Myra said. We will continue to demonstrate what humans are capable of. But know this, we offer partnership, not subservience. We share our strengths because we believe it will create something greater for both our peoples. The Queen's gaze lingered on the humans. Very well. I will observe further, but your words, and your actions, have shifted the balance of how I view humanity. This is unusual. Perhaps you are worthy of more than mere survival. As the connection ended, Myra turned to her crew. Today we have done more than endure. We have shown what humans can offer. Our ingenuity, courage, and perspective matter. The Queen has begun to see our value beyond mere curiosity. Ryan smiled faintly. We have made an impression. That is something no one else could do so quickly. Lonnie nodded. And the Queen is not just observing anymore. She is considering us as equals, in some way. Myra looked out over the alien world, her expression steady and confident. This is only the beginning. The trials will continue, but our influence has begun. The Queen is curious. She is learning about humans, and in doing so, she may see that we are more than small and fragile. We are capable of shaping the future. With renewed determination, the crew continued their exploration, knowing that every action they took now mattered not just for survival, but for building trust, respect, and a chance at true partnership with a civilization far greater than their own. The alien Queen watched them from across the stars, intrigued by their progress and cleverness. For the first time in centuries, she considered that perhaps humans were not just a curiosity. Perhaps they could become something important in the galaxy. The humans had been on the alien planet for several days, completing trials and navigating challenges designed to test endurance, intelligence, and cooperation. Each success had strengthened their confidence, but Captain Myra knew the true test was still ahead. The alien Queen watched closely from across the stars, and the next step would be as much about words as it was about action. The twin suns of the alien world rose, illuminating the glowing rivers and crystal forests below. Myra gathered her crew at the edge of a cliff overlooking the valley where they had solved the energy puzzle. Today we face a challenge unlike any other, she said. We have proven ourselves in action, but now we must also show the strength of our ideas and our perspective. The Queen values creativity, courage, and honesty. That is what we must offer her. Ryan frowned slightly, scanning the horizon. Captain, what do you mean? Do we have to speak to her directly? Yes, Myra said. She is watching. And it is time we make our intentions clear. We offer more than survival. We offer partnership. But we must do so carefully, boldly, and honestly. Lonnie adjusted her equipment. We have shown her ingenuity and endurance. What more could she want? Trust and vision, Myra replied. She must see that we are not just clever in action, but capable of thinking beyond ourselves. That is the true strength of humans. With careful steps, the crew activated a communications link through the device they had discovered in the Crystal Valley. The shimmering air distorted briefly, and then the alien Queen appeared, seated on her glowing throne, her eyes fixed on the humans with quiet curiosity. You have reached remarkable heights, the Queen said, her voice carrying a mixture of intrigue and authority. Most species collapse long before achieving what you have done. Humans, you are unusual. Myra bowed slightly. We are grateful for the chance to demonstrate our capabilities. We have learned much, adapted, and survived challenges designed to defeat us. But what we offer goes beyond survival. The Queen raised an eyebrow. Beyond survival? Most creatures offer obedience, or surrender. Words, promises, tricks, none can match the weight of power. What makes you different? Myra met her gaze steadily. We are different because we do not act out of fear. We do not seek control for its own sake. We act to understand, to create, to improve. Humanity thrives not because we are the strongest, but because we find solutions where others see only failure. We offer partnership, insight, and creativity. We offer the chance to grow together, rather than dominate one another. The alien queen leaned back slightly, her expression unreadable. Silence filled the space between them. The queen's attendants whispered among themselves, astonished by the clarity and courage of the human captain. An offer, the queen said finally, her tone tinged with amusement. You speak of partnership with your kind, the smallest of all species I have encountered, and you expect me to accept. Yes, Myra said, steady and unwavering. We offer more than power or weapons. We offer ideas, cooperation, and a perspective that may be new to your empire. That is why we speak boldly, and why we ask for your consideration. The queen's laughter echoed suddenly, filling the chamber with a sound both beautiful and commanding. It was a sound that startled the humans, yet it was not threatening. It was curiosity, wonder, and the faintest hint of delight. You are audacious, the queen said, still smiling. Few have dared to speak so plainly. Fewer still have the courage to make an offer without hesitation. And yet, there is something compelling about your words. Myra continued, we are not here to deceive or manipulate. We seek to create something greater than either of our species alone. That is our offer, and it is sincere. For a long moment, the queen said nothing, her eyes studying Myra and her crew. Then she spoke again, her voice calm but commanding. Few creatures understand that strength is more than size or power. Few recognize that intelligence, creativity, and cooperation can rival fleets and armies. Humans, you have shown me that in action. And now, in words, you claim partnership. Bold and, remarkably honest. Ryan whispered to Lonnie, I can't believe this is happening. She's actually listening, really listening. Lonnie nodded. It's not just listening. She's considering. That is something no one else has ever done. Myra straightened her posture. That is why I repeat our offer. Humans do not seek to dominate. We seek to understand, create, and build together. Strength is in unity, creativity, and courage. If you accept, we will bring our best to the galaxy, not to conquer, but to contribute. The alien queen's laughter rang again, more heartfelt this time. It echoed across the chamber and seemed to ripple through the stars. All right, she said, her tone carrying authority and amusement. I accept. You speak boldly, and yet I find your words intriguing. I accept your offer. A stunned silence fell among the humans. Myra felt her heartbeat steady, pride and relief washing through her. The queen's acceptance was not just a victory of survival or cleverness. It was acknowledgement. Respect. The beginning of something far greater. You understand what this means? Ryan said, his voice barely above a whisper. Myra nodded. Yes. We are no longer just guests. We are recognized as potential partners. The galaxy has shifted beneath our feet, not through force, but through courage, intelligence, and honesty. Lonnie smiled, her eyes reflecting the glow of the alien chamber. She trusts us now, in a way few leaders ever have with outsiders. The queen's gaze remained on them. I will observe your progress further, she said. But this offer, this partnership, it is rare. Humans, you may be small, but your minds and hearts are remarkable. I am curious to see what comes next. Myra inclined her head. We will continue to show our capabilities. Together, we can learn, grow, and achieve more than any one species alone. That is the path we offer, and it is the path we intend to walk. The queen's attendants nodded, and whispers filled the chamber. The humans had changed the court's perception entirely. Where once they had been seen as fragile and inconsequential, they were now recognized as innovators, thinkers, and partners. Outside the chamber, the alien world shimmered in the light of the twin suns. The rivers glowed softly, the forests reflected shades of brilliance, and the landscape seemed to acknowledge the triumph of the humans. They had not only survived, they had influenced, persuaded, and demonstrated the unique power of humanity. Myra looked at her crew. "We have done more than survive," she said. "We have proven that courage, intelligence, and honesty can create change. Today marks a new beginning, not just for us, but for the future of human interaction with the galaxy." Ryan smiled. "I never imagined our first encounter with an alien queen would turn into something like this." Lonnie laughed softly. "We dared to speak the truth and act with ingenuity. That is enough to create respect, even from the most powerful being in the galaxy." Myra nodded. "And that is why humanity endures. Not because we are the largest or the strongest, but because we think, we adapt, and we act with purpose. The galaxy may never forget that humans can face the impossible with courage and creativity." As the communication link closed, the humans felt a sense of accomplishment unlike any they had experienced. They had faced trials, solved impossible problems, and finally spoken with honesty and vision to a ruler who had never seen their kind before. And far across the stars, the alien queen watched. Her laughter had shifted from amusement to genuine intrigue and perhaps even admiration. She had accepted their offer, not out of obligation, not out of fear, but because she recognized the value of the humans' courage, intelligence, and vision. For the first time, humans were no longer just small observers in the galaxy. They were partners, innovators, and a species whose mind and heart had impressed a queen whose empire had spanned centuries. In that moment, under alien suns and glowing skies, humanity had taken its rightful place in the story of the galaxy. They had survived the impossible and offered something no one else could: boldness, intelligence, and the promise of collaboration. The human vessel cut through the stars, moving steadily toward Lyra's kingdom. The calm of space was deceptive, for danger could strike at any moment. Inside, the crew worked with quiet focus, their hands steady on controls and instruments. Ryan remained at the helm, eyes alert to every signal and movement. Lyra stood beside him, her luminous eyes bright with determination. She had made her choice. She would return to her people and reclaim her throne. The events of the past days had taught her courage and trust in a way she had never experienced before. The human who had pressed his hand against her wound had shown her what fearless action truly meant. Ryan glanced at her. "Are you ready to face them?" he asked. She nodded. "I am," she said. "I know the risks, but I also know that courage and trust are stronger than fear." The sensors hummed suddenly, alerting the crew to an approaching fleet. Enemy ships appeared on the horizon, sleek and dark against the stars. They moved with precision, aiming to intercept the vessel before it reached the kingdom. Ryan's hands tightened on the controls. "They've gathered their forces," he said. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers and coordinated defense. We will not falter." The human crew moved quickly, raising shields and adjusting energy outputs. Lyra's guards activated defensive systems, working seamlessly with the humans. Ryan guided the vessel through sharp turns and sudden climbs, using the stars and asteroid fields to their advantage. Lyra watched closely, giving instructions to her people and relaying information to the crew. Her confidence had grown. She now understood the power of trust and action combined. Her decisions were clear, precise, and fearless. One of the enemy ships moved ahead, attempting to cut off their path. Ryan anticipated the maneuver, sending the vessel through a narrow corridor of space filled with floating debris. The enemy followed but struggled to maintain formation, their movements slowed and less coordinated. Lyra's guards whispered in astonishment. Even they had never seen such precise navigation. They now trusted Ryan completely, recognizing the value of his fearless instincts. Ryan adjusted the ship's trajectory, guiding it around a dense cluster of asteroids. Energy blasts from the enemy ricocheted harmlessly, missing the vessel entirely. The crew breathed easier, their confidence rising as they saw the effectiveness of the combined strategy. Lyra placed a hand on the console. "Your guidance has saved us countless times," she said softly. "Your courage has taught me more than any training could." Ryan smiled faintly. "Courage is not about avoiding danger. It is about choosing action when it matters most. We act together, and that makes us strong." The enemy fleet regrouped, attempting to flank the vessel from multiple angles. Ryan calculated their movements, directing the ship with skill and intuition. Lyra relayed instructions to the alien ships accompanying them, coordinating a strategy that combined human ingenuity with her people's advanced technology. As the battle unfolded, the human vessel became a beacon of coordination and courage. Enemy attacks were countered, forces neutralized, and every movement was precise. Lyra observed the teamwork, understanding that leadership was not about power alone but about inspiring trust and action in others. Finally, the enemy fleet began to retreat, their formations broken and ineffective. The combined forces of humans and loyal alien ships held the upper hand. Cheers of relief echoed through the vessel, but Ryan and Lyra remained focused, knowing that vigilance was still required. The vessel moved closer to Lyra's home world, its surface glowing faintly beneath the stars. Loyal ships welcomed them, forming a protective formation around the human vessel. Lyra's people looked to her, inspired by her courage and the fearless actions she had witnessed. Ryan glanced at her. "The hardest part is over," he said. "But your leadership begins now." Lyra nodded, her gaze steady and strong. "I will guide my people with courage and wisdom. I have learned that fear can be overcome by action and trust. Together, we can achieve more than I ever imagined." The alien guards bowed in respect, acknowledging her authority and the trust she had shown in humans. The crew felt a deep sense of pride. Their fearless acts had not only protected the princess but had also forged a lasting alliance between worlds. Ryan moved to her side. "You have shown extraordinary courage," he said. "Your people will follow because they see your strength and determination. Trust and fearless action will carry them forward." Lyra smiled, her eyes shining. "And you have shown me that courage is not limited to one species. Humans act with a bravery that inspires loyalty and hope. I will never forget what you have done." The stars stretched endlessly ahead as the vessel descended toward the planet's surface. Lyra's loyal forces guided the way, ensuring a safe landing. The human crew followed instructions, their confidence unwavering. Together, they created a path of trust and fearless action that no enemy could block. As the vessel touched down, Lyra stepped forward, her posture regal and confident. The people of her kingdom gathered, their eyes wide with admiration and hope. They had witnessed their princess return not just with strength but with courage that had been tested and proven in the stars. Ryan stood beside her, quietly observing. The fearless act that began on a distant moon had grown into something far greater, a legend of trust, courage, and unity between worlds. Lyra turned to her people. "We have faced danger together, and we have prevailed," she said. "Courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to act despite it. Trust and action will guide us to a brighter future." The crowd cheered, their faith in her renewed. Her guards, humans, and allies stood united, ready to support her leadership. The bonds formed in peril had created a foundation of loyalty and hope that could not be broken. Ryan looked at Lyra and nodded. "You have proven that fearless action can inspire change," he said. "Your people will follow because they trust in you and the choices you make." Lyra smiled. "And you have shown me that courage crosses worlds. Together, we have created something greater than either of us could achieve alone." The sun rose on the horizon, casting golden light across the kingdom. The shadows of fear had faded, replaced by hope, unity, and the promise of a future built on trust and action. The human vessel prepared to depart, but the bond between Ryan, Lyra, and her people remained strong. Fearless acts had saved lives, forged alliances, and created a legend that would inspire generations to come. Ryan stepped onto the surface beside Lyra. "This is only the beginning," he said. "Your courage will guide your people, and our alliance will grow stronger with each challenge we face." Lyra nodded, her eyes bright with determination. "Then let us move forward," she said. "Together, we will face every challenge and build a future filled with hope, courage, and unity." The stars shimmered above as humans and aliens alike celebrated the dawn of a new era. Fear had been faced and overcome. Trust had been given and honored. Courage had forged a path beyond fear.